Yeah, that's a good point. It's very interesting, Chi, now that you mentioned the Asian culture. Even for the second generation, we still have the pressure of tiger mom, tiger dad, and be successful, either be a doctor, lawyer, maybe they say as software engineer now, or you are a loser. So I wonder, like for this, or maybe not just for Asian culture, for those with the type A personality in general, that kind of like striving for perfection, and kind of like the side effect is you maybe sometimes you will have imposter symptoms when you are like completely new project. So I'm curious how you definitely jump out of your comfort zone in many occasions. So I wonder how do you deal with that situations? Yeah.
That's a very good question. Yeah, talking about the imposter syndrome, right? I think
Yeah.
I don't know about others, but the female friends I talk to, almost everyone has it. Everyone will have it at some point, or constantly question like, am I good enough for the job? I don't know many things. I have to ramp up so many things. I mean, even a very
And
smart lady,
regardless of color, I know that's what.
regardless, exactly,
Yeah.
regardless, yeah, like, exactly. It's kind of like a little bit, I don't know if it's a female, it's more like not say mom, but more like a
Reflective,
facilitate,
maybe more reflective. Yeah.
more reflective, more thinking like, oh, did I do something wrong? Always trying to be perfect, right? Do the good things and helping others. Yeah, even like one of the very very smart lady in my team. Yeah, she's like superstar. I hired her from Google, and still sometimes she will feel like, hey, did I do this wrong in people management, in project? Um, uh, so I can sense that. I many times I will reconfirm with her, say, hey, you're doing a good job, don't worry, you're doing a good job. It's just like, this is the goal, let's focus on the goal, just don't be distracted. Focus on the goal. But yeah, a lot of people have that, and the way to overcome, I see, like, even I got recently promoted, right? And then I will say, did I get promoted too fast? Did I get, still you feel like, yeah, you have a very good record there. The revenue record. People are keep saying that, that is your evidence. Don't worry. But you still think, am I still in the pool? Do I, qualify as other corporate vice president? How do they behave? How do they cover? Because they manage so many projects, right? So you still constantly are thinking like, am I in the right position? But then at the end, I feel like, wow, it's the customer and the revenue, and customer and revenue matters, right? At the end, just think about, focus on these things. It's just no use to worry about this because the worry will
Yeah.
never help me. It will just drag me down from what I want to achieve. Just focus on the goal.
Yeah. Focus on the goals. Focus on the most important, the customer and revenue. I don't let the fear bother you. I guess it's. Thank you so much, Chief, for sharing your. It's a like heartfelt conversation. I think many of us could relate to that, and even your own doubts. I guess it's just always probably it will always there for many of us. Just acknowledge that, but don't go down to that rabbit hole. Don't distracted by that. Focus on the goals. Focus on like the most important thing. Yeah. For the last question, I wonder, what kind of impact do you want to make in the world at your stage right now? Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, this is the time actually I keep asking myself, what do I want to do before I die? Because that's kind of like force me to really consider, right? Like, one day, or everybody will face that. So what do I want to achieve before that? Or yeah, like you said, what impact? I think, to me, I probably won't have the impact like, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Satya, these 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 big CEOs, and very smart guys. But I think everybody make an impact in their own way to the world, and the world is just, it doesn't matter it's big or small. There are just so many opportunities out there to grab, and jump onto the one that your passion drive you. So for me, I feel I first start I think part of the thing that help me successful here is I really focus. I focus on my customers. I really want to make their experience good because sometimes I feel sad when I see their experiences suck. Right? I see they are struggling with their experience on the service. I get mad and then I will jump in and trying to get team work with me together to fix things. Um, and then on bigger scope, I also hope, because for a long time, I also have dreams of education. I feel like nowadays the education system is too rigid, even though US is trying to make it less hard as for Chinese students. But still what they are teaching is not cater to the capability of the kids or their interest even. Like every kid has their own dimension of interest. When you see it matches, these two matches, wow, they excel. I have a real example from my middle school and high school classmate. Like her score was so bad for many, many years. And one day she visited the English teacher when the teacher was sick in the hospital. And after like an hour or something talk, her English just went up straight, like, exponentially. Then she ended up with #1 in our whole grade when she graduates in English in particular, right? So I feel like it's not, there's no bad students. It's really, not enough resources to empower them to show their talent. So, yeah, so if I get a chance, I will try to do something there as well if I can.
That's very inspiring. I could like two things that touch my heart. One is I don't think you're just focusing on the customer. You're truly caring for the customer because you get upset, you get frustrated when they don't get experience. So you truly care, and then you put in extra effort to improve their experience. And I like when you talk about empowering the other mission, the empowering students with education. It I also feel so inspired. Like I think not just in education, but in also our daily life, personally or professionally, there are really no bad students. That could be a metaphor in so many areas. There are really no bad students. How we could empower them to achieve more and be more. So
Yeah, that's very challenging though. That's very hard. Yeah, I really appreciate some tools like a Khan Academy, right? They are free and they give every student this access to these materials. I'm even hoping that the college education can be like that too, like MIT, Stanford, they open source, or CMU, they open source a lot of their materials. If in US, all the college application could be freely accessible to everybody, right? But then at the time of graduation, then you pass certain things. And it's also like, follow your passion. What you need to do later is what you want to learn. Of course, you can learn other things, but that's the most important, right? So basically, the education system is to prepare you to be successful for your life and face many changes in the life. If our education system can do like that, I feel it will be we'll have many more happy students instead of every student competing and say, oh, I write this essay, I will have so many reviews and I'll get straight A and I'll get SAT. Well, even SAT is kind of gone, but still, right? It's kind of many rules to measure them, even though many holistic schools trying to measure them in more dimensions, but it's still that measure. I was like, why does the college admission has to measure them? Why it's not the graduation, right? Why it's not the actual work that need them to measure them? But yeah, I guess it's too early now for US to change that system.
definitely share your passion. I believe I think there are many in the field that are wanting to do something to change the education system, because we can see it's not keep up to speed with the tech, with the changes in the world today. And definitely, like you mentioned, like why put it in a competition like in a such narrow criteria? It show there could be more, and there are a lot more potential
Right.
in
Imagine the admission officer. How can the admission officer understand a student spending 5 minutes reading their essay, right? It's just
yeah,
insane, right? And unless the people do some niche, use some special ways to catch their attention. But is that right? Right? Sometimes I feel that's why I feel the admission should be, free and like everybody can access. If we can make the education system scalable, I think the education system really haven't changed too much since like 200-300 years ago, right? Like they
yeah,
established it here. So it's
yeah,
still like, oh, limited resource, limited dorm, limited professors to teach you. But with the help of tech, like you said, we could make it more scalable, more available to more students. And, they only need to be measured at the graduation time or when they join the workforce.
yeah.
But that's something to think about.
Yeah, something to think about. Thank you so much, Chi, again for this interview. I found it so inspired and also personally touched so many of what you shared. So I hope the audience could share my the inspiration as well. So thank you again, Chi, and thank you for the audience for listening to this. And until next time, be the hero of your own life. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Alice. Thank you for having me. Bye bye.
Bye.